Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Got two free games to cover, so I know you guys are gonna appreciate that. One of them is a DRM free game, and then one of them is a free game that just released on Steam. It's gonna be free forever, but it's getting a very strong reception right now, and I know it's going under a lot of your guys' radar, so I wanted to bring some attention to that game. Also, we have an update on World War Z and how that game is doing commercially, and that is very important because this game was, of course, an Epic Game Store exclusive, but it looks like it's doing reasonably well on PC. They actually put out a specific number, so I do want to take a look at that, and I also want to take a look at the system requirements for Rage 2. That's coming up. That'll be dropping on May 14th, so I want to give you guys a heads up on that game's PC system requirements at the end of this video. So first up, let's go over the free games. One of them, again, is DRM free, and it's available directly through the Humble Trove. Now, if you're subscribed to Humble Monthly, they give you access to what is known as the Humble Trove, just a bunch of DRM free games that you always have access to. However, from time to time, they also offer you free downloads to everyone, even if you're not a monthly subscriber. And that's what they're doing right now. They're giving away Fulbright's excellent Gone Home. Now, Gone Home is a pretty short story-driven game. A lot of people see it as a walking simulator, and it's definitely that. It's light on the gameplay, but it's still a pretty compelling game, and it was received very well, an 86 on Metacritic, which an 86 is a pretty good score. And the story of Gone Home is set on June 7th, 1995. You arrive home after a year abroad. You expect your family to greet you, but the house is empty. Something's not right. Where is everyone, and what's happened here? Unravel the mystery for yourself in Gone Home, a story exploration game from the Fulbright Company, the same studio that also did Tacoma. Most people agree that Gone Home is their better game, and the game itself is an interactive exploration simulator. Interrogate every detail of a seemingly normal house to discover the story of the people who live there. Open any drawer and door and pick up objects and examine them to discover clues. Uncover the events of one family's lives by investigating what they left behind. The game's key features tout a personal story, an immersive place, no combat, no puzzles, fully interactive investigation, and they did add behind-the-scenes commentary, which is something I like to be included in games, especially after it's been out a little while, to give you an insight on how the game came to be and different design choices, so I think that's pretty cool. Game typically goes for $15, but you shouldn't be paying $15 for it. It's readily available during like Humble bundles, and it goes on sale for like $3. But nonetheless, right now, it's available as a part of the Humble Trove for free, so give it a download, and it is DRM free, so it's going to be a direct download, and it's going to sit on your PC. It'll be available free until May 3rd, so after May 3rd, if you keep the game downloaded, it is yours, but if you decide to delete it for whatever reason, then of course it will vanish. But download it, try it out. It's a relatively short game, so you're not going to be investing much, and I did enjoy my time with that, so give it a look. Also, directly available on Steam, and this is one some people are talking about, although for the mainstream audience, I think it's going a little under the radar, and that is Hymno. Hymno is actually the game I mentioned like a month ago, and I was like, man, this game is going to be released for free, and it looks really cool. Now, it's a peaceful 2D platformer game with an infinite number of beautiful procedurally generated maps. Take a breath and relax. I know a lot of you guys last month played Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and you know how incredibly challenging that game is. Although I'm not one of those that are calling for an easy mode in that game, I think that's just an absolutely ridiculous story that's come across where people are wanting an easy mode in that game. Absolutely not. But nonetheless, if you want an easier experience to contrast you playing Sekiro, Hymno is definitely that kind of game. It's super peaceful, it's non-violent, no death. Your actions in the game and the world trigger emotional soundtrack and vibrant visuals, wall jumps, slides, dashes, moving platforms, lifts. That's all here, but there's no pressure. It lets you play at your own pace without any pressure of actually completing the game and going through it. You watch bright things dance around you, great for playing for a little while every now and then to discover some new maps, and enjoyable by a wide variety of player skill. Again, Hymno is available absolutely free. They are selling the soundtrack for $4, but I believe this game was developed by one person, and he decided to make it in his free time, and then he dropped it on Steam for free. That's really cool of him, and this is a game that I feel like he could have released for even a cheaper price one. If you wanted to release it at $3.99 or $4.99, he definitely could have done that, and I feel like he would have gotten a couple of sales. But hey, he's offering it for free, so you might as well check it out. And so far, the Steam reception has been pretty strong, 84% positive based on 184 user reviews. But check it out for yourself. This is one I don't really need to sell you on, given that it is free and it came out just a couple of days ago. So those are the free game offerings. Gone Home free through the Humble Trove, and Hymno is free on Steam. I'll leave links to both of those in the description box down below. But let's move on to another very interesting topic, and that is World War Z and how that game is doing on PC, and it's doing relatively well, all things considered. Now, obviously, this game being an Epic Game Store exclusive and not being on Steam is going to stifle its sales numbers a little bit, but now we actually have some specific numbers on how this game is sold, and specifically in the week or two that it's been out, I believe it's been out for 2 weeks, World War Z has sold 250,000 copies through the Epic Game Store. So 250,000 copies to the naked eye might not seem like all impressive of a number. However, still for a lower key game like this, I think that's that's pretty good. And in totality, the game did sell 1 million copies. That's with the PlayStation 4 version and the Xbox One version being calculated in there. We'll never know how this game would have performed if this game was on Steam. Honestly, if this game was released on Steam, I could have seen it sell at that 500,000 to 750,000 copy mark. I don't know if it would have quite broken 1 million units sold just directly through Steam, but I definitely do think the Epic Store did hurt it a little bit, because this is the kind of game where word of mouth would really travel very quickly, and it was a game that generally would have just gotten some additional promotion that way. I do think the game would have sold better. However, of course, Epic Games did of course offer the World War Z guys a lot of money upfront, so not only are you getting the 250,000 sales through the Epic Games Store, you're selling the games on consoles, but you're probably also getting that ease of mind of, hey, we're getting this revenue upfront. And Epic Games is easing a lot of that tension, so I could see why they went that route. I just wanted to mention this because there was a lot of talk about how Metro Exodus did, and the numbers they were putting out for Metro Exodus were really weird. They were just saying the game sold 2.5 times better than Metro Last Light did on Steam, which is an absolute ridiculous statement to make, because when Metro Last Light was released all the way back in, 2012, 2013, it was a different time in PC gaming. The Metro franchise isn't what it is today, and PC gaming as a whole was different back then. Not as many people were buying AAA console-like games on PC. Not as many people were buying these big budget experiences on PC, but the climate has completely changed. So to say that it sold 2.5 times more than the previous game 6 years ago, you guys can understand how that was just a ridiculous statement and didn't give us a lot to work off of. I need actual numbers, and the fact that World War Z did sell 250,000 copies, hey, you're getting that upfront money, you're selling 250,000 copies of the game, you're still selling the game on consoles. Numbers like these can definitely make me understand why these exclusive agreements are being made, and you have to wonder, how much did Epic Games pay up front for this game to be an Epic Store exclusive? We'll never know that number, but given somebody came to the conclusion of $2 million being paid to a smaller game, a game like World War Z, I could easily see a $3 to $5 million number put up front for this game. And hey, $3 to $5 million, that sounds like a lot of money, and you're still selling the game. That is just speculation on my part, but think about it from an Epic Games standpoint. $3 to $5 million for them at this point is really chump change, and they could do whatever the hell they want with $3 to $5 million, given that Fortnite is going to generate that revenue in no time at all. So those are just some statistics I wanted to let you guys know of. And lastly, I do want to quickly give you guys a heads up on the Rage 2 system requirements. This will be dropping May 14th, so the release of Rage 2 is right around the corner, and I'm quite excited for it. Very excited about the fact that the game will be released on Steam, and it won't be exclusive to the Bethesda platform, but we also got some requirements, and they're looking pretty hefty. For a game like this being done by id Software and Avalanche, given that its visual prowess is pretty high, I was expecting relatively high system requirements. But let's look at it. For a minimum requirement, you're looking at an Intel Core i5 3570 or an AMD Ryzen 3 1300X. You're looking at 8GB of RAM on the minimum side of things. And then minimum GPU, you're looking at an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 783GB or an AMD R9 283GB. As far as minimum requirements go, 780 and 280, that's not anything crazy. Back in the day when those GPUs were released, they were received incredibly well, and they were higher end GPUs, but at this point in 2019, the 780, while still holds up decently well, obviously it's not on the level of, say, a 1070 or some of the more modern GPUs. But nonetheless, that is just minimum. For recommended requirements, you're looking at an Intel Core i7 4770 or an AMD Ryzen 5 1600X, 8GB of recommended RAM as well, so that's pretty interesting, as you don't see a lot of the times 8GB being minimum and recommended, but in the case of Rage 2, that will be the scenario they go with. And recommended GPU, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1070, 8GB or an AMD Vega 56, 8GB. Unfortunately, they don't go in depth on what resolution or what settings to expect these on. I think the threshold for what to expect out of system requirements has really been increased by publishers like Ubisoft. I know I'm giving Ubisoft of all publishers credit, but they do a really good job in offering us a lot of information about the system requirements, and I want to see other publishers follow in suit. I think the days of having only 2 tiers of minimum and recommended system requirements, that doesn't make any sense at all, given all the variations of different resolutions, different settings, different frame rates you can play the game on. You should really have at least 3 or ideally 4 different tiers of system requirements: minimum, recommended, high, and then, you know, your ultra spec or whatever the case may be, and give us some specifics on what type of resolution, what type of performance to expect, because I think that eases our minds in terms of, can our hardware actually run the games we want to play? Just give us more information. Is it really that hard to dig up all of this information? You're doing the testing anyway. So give us 3 to 4 tiers of system requirements and be a little bit more descriptive in terms of what can we actually expect with said hardware. But nonetheless, I've been driving that point home for years, it seems like, and while some publishers have followed in suit, like a Ubisoft, other publishers as well, some publishers still haven't gotten on the bandwagon, and Bethesda is one of them that, man, I want to see a little bit more out of them in terms of offering us quality system requirements. But nonetheless, there you have it with minimum and recommended. And that's gonna conclude this video, guys. Again, I'll leave a link to the Humble Trove in the description box down below. You guys can check out a free copy of Gone Home through there. Hymno is available on Steam. That'll be free forever. World War Z has sold 250,000 copies on the Epic Game Store, which I think is a pretty good number, all things considered. And we just went over the Rage 2 system requirements. Let's hope at some point Bethesda does up their game with how they deliver us system requirements. But nonetheless, it looks like Rage 2 will be a decently difficult game to run depending on your requirements. If you have a 1070, that's what they're listing as recommended. But if you're looking to play this game at 4K at higher settings, I don't think a 1070 is gonna quite be enough. I think that's a foregone conclusion. But nonetheless, that's gonna wrap up this one. If you guys have a request for a future video, you can leave that in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.